Hello again, everybody. This is Dan Clouser, and welcome back to the Journey of My Mother's Son podcast. Sandy and I coming at you again. It's been a long time since we've done one, not since we were up in Maine, western Maine. So it's been several months. We're now in Florida, and I want to talk a little bit about our journey to get down here to the Sunshine State. So, honey, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
We left Pennsylvania on this stint on November 4th. We stayed in Pennsylvania and got to one of my former players' houses, Kyle Stover, who I did do a podcast with in York, Pennsylvania. Had a wonderful dinner and
Enjoyed the family time with them.
Building some stomp rockets and
That's right, all kinds of things as kids, the
stuff.
The three boys were into.
They were keeping us
on
our toes, no doubt about it. And then had breakfast with Kyle in the morning as Ange went to work and the kids went to school. And then we were hoping that evening we would have been able to get together with Jerry Werner in the Baltimore area, another one of my former players, and that didn't come to fruition due to COVID. He was exposed to COVID by a coworker, so we didn't want to take the chance of doing that. So we kind of made an impromptu decision. We were originally just going to stay somewhere in a parking lot or something, and we ended up going to a little historic location just outside of Towson, Maryland. And at that point decided we should probably stay in a campground for one night. And we found Bar Harbor campground just outside of Aberdeen, Maryland, which was a really cool location.
We had a good sight too.
Yeah.
Looked out over the lake.
Yep, we were right on the water.
Fed some
Very
ducks
cool.
in the morning.
There were ducks around. There were some docks close by that Euclid liked walking out to. And that evening we were supposed to get together with Jeff Potter and his wife, and Jeff sent us a text again due to a COVID issue. Again, not that anyone came down with COVID, but they were exposed and wanted to play it safe. So one night in the Bar Harbor campground turned into 3 nights. Yeah, we got there on a Thursday.
Two more nights.
Friday night, Saturday night.
So it was 2 more nights.
Yeah. So that was fun. We had to move spaces. We had to move our campsite to stay there the extra 2 days, which was fine because it gave us an opportunity to actually run up to the 7-Eleven and grab some milk and some other, I don't know what else you got, bread or I don't know, a couple other supplies, and we had to top off the propane. So
and it was it was a gorgeous week, and it was very warm, so the campground filled up for the weekend, so there was no empty spots at all, so it was really kind of too packed for me.
Yeah, it was definitely the fullest campground that we've been in on our journey so far. So we ended up getting there, staying there till Sunday, and then we were heading over to just outside of Manassas, Virginia. What was the name of that actual town where the Greenfield family campground was? I'm not sure. It was outside of Manassas.
Greenville Farm Family RV site in Haymarket, Virginia.
Haymarket, Virginia. There you go. My beautiful wife's journal is coming in handy, so we're not bouncing all around like we did on our last podcast together. So we had plans to have 3 of our friends come visit us during our stay there. We were there Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, left Wednesday. And then unfortunately, just different circumstances with everybody. we didn't get to see anybody during that little stay. We were hoping to see Monica Livingston, Cynthia Hobgood, and Andrew Hayden, and ended up seeing no one but ourselves and Euclid. But
and doing some more wash.
Yeah, doing some wash and getting some nice walks in. There were some
yeah.
nice trails there.
It was really a wooded area in the back of a forest, basically.
Yeah, our site was open
with a good trail.
Yeah. So then we did a harvest host site after that.
On November 10th, it was Tuesday, I think. No, I don't know. It could have been Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm getting a little mixed up here.
It was Veterans Day.
Yeah,
so November 11th.
Yes, you're right. That was
we
our big win.
Yeah, we were there one night. Battlefield Country Store. They're great hosts. Anybody that does harvest hosts, it's definitely a place you want to go to. We ate too much while we were there.
And all they had were to go in and order specialty sandwiches. That was it. Because of COVID, but they have a country store that has a lot of Amish foods. They have shoe fly pie. They actually have good chips from back home. They have Utz's pretzels from back home. They had an ice cream shop.
Unique pretzels.
Yes.
Yeah, ice cream banana split was really good. And then we ended up winning 10 pounds of bacon while we were there. Which
That's right. It was great.
Pretty cool.
We're now probably down to one frozen pack yet. That's it. And that's what? A little over a month later. That's pretty good.
We've been eating some bacon in the last month. But so we were there for a night, and then we stayed at a KOA campground in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which we had a lot of rain while we were at the Battlefield Country Store, and luckily we were at Battlefield Country Store during the rain and not at the Fredericksburg KOA, because they had a significant amount of flooding the night before we got there from the rain. A couple people had to move sites because of flooding, and but that was a nice little site as well. We got to talk to a couple about work camping opportunities and some stuff like that, which is something we're definitely going to do down the road. Is some work camping, which will be pretty cool. Since now the second couple that's given us some really
good feedback on it.
Yeah, good information and good feedback on the possibilities of work camping. So it'll be something we'll look into a little bit further down on the journey. So we when we left KOA, we went up to Lake Anna, which was a really cool site. Big lake.
Good trails again.
Yep, nice trails. Euclid loved it. I think he dipped his toes in the water there as well. And they also have some campsites there, which we got to kind of check out while we were there. So that'll be a nice little.
That was more in the state park, right?
Yeah, it was a state park. So it'll be a nice option for us in the future to stay if we're in that area. And then that evening we went to some friend's house, home of Shafi and Andrew Schweers, and had just an awesome dinner and time with them. Andrew made us some incredible steaks on the grill, which we were not expecting at all. So Andrew and Homa went above and beyond.
They sure did.
To make us feel welcome.
Very kind and generous people that I'm glad we got to have time with.
Yep, no doubt about it. We got to meet their dogs, unfortunately, because Euclid can be a little bit of a jerk to other dogs. We couldn't let the dogs play, but we got to meet their 2 German Shepherds, and
one's still a puppy, and
one's just a little pup. But that was a lot of fun, for sure. So we left late that evening and drove to. I'm trying to think. Well, we go into the.
We had trouble finding the campsite.
We stayed at a rest area that night.
Right. So
Friday night. And then That's right, because on Saturday we were trying to get a campsite in the Columbia area to see Tina.
And we ended up in Florence.
Yeah.
Swamp Fox Campground in Florence, North Carolina.
Yep. All the sites in Columbia were booked because it was a weekend and we were just calling. So we ended up staying in Florence, which is about just under an hour outside of Columbia. But our plans for Sunday were to meet Tina at church. She gave us the address to her church.
And that was in Lexington, South Carolina.
Yep, just outside of Columbia, West Columbia. So we met Tina at the church. Went to the service with her. Had a great time at the service.
And went to some Mexican restaurant to eat.
Yes, I don't remember the name of it, but it was really good.
It was really good. Yes.
Really good.
We went to. Then you had a lot of just chatting with her on baseball and softball and stuff. We met her son, Brian. They recommended some parks that we could walk on some trails again. So we went to Saluda Shaw's. Is that how it was pronounced? Yeah. Park in South Carolina.
Yeah, Sunday we went there, which was really cool again. And that's really neat site.
Yeah, and that's when we ran into some fundraiser at a pavilion. Yeah, so we just kind of joined in. They were selling food and stuff, but we had already had that big lunch.
So we got dessert.
Yeah, it was really neat. The music was great.
They had a live band, which is really good. You enjoyed it. Again, we walked more trails, and then that evening
we slept at.
We stayed at a Sam's Club
in Columbia.
But we were having trouble finding out where to have dinner at that night. And then I remembered my friend Michelle Deloso, who went to the University of South Carolina and knows Tina. Prior to us getting to Columbia, she'd said, if you get a chance, go to California Dreamin'. Like out of the blue, I was like, whoa, I got to check that text. And you were actually still on the phone with your sister at the time, and I just hopped in and started driving, and you're like, where are we going? I'm like, I know where we're going to go eat now. And that was really good. That place was
That's a recommended
really
place, too.
Yes, if you're in Columbia.
A couple different ones.
Yeah, and then we saw a sign for one. Yeah, Columbia was good. Then we stayed, we stayed there at the Sam's Club, and then Monday you got your hair done.
Yes.
At, what was it, Paul Mitchell or something? So beauty school.
Yeah.
Recommended by Tina.
So we didn't get to be on the road till later on. It was after 4:30 till I was done, and so we
actually stayed there.
Drove into Georgia. We drove into Georgia after that.
That night, okay.
Stopped at just a quick Bojangles and grabbed something to eat, and then we were on the road again. Okay. Really, I think that was the awesome moon and sunset because we were driving towards it. It was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we stayed in the Georgia Welcome Center, and
that's right. Yeah.
From that point.
That was good, and like always, Euclid always seems to sleep so much better in a rest stop. He doesn't hear anything because the tractor trailers are just taking the noise away. I sleep better at one.
So then we went to Zach's house in Atlanta, Decatur, technically. And that was Zach Schneider, again, one of my former players. And we were there for a couple days. Again, had dinner with him. First night he made, actually the first night we got pizza.
Right.
Just did pizza. And then the second night he made us some homemade pasta with homemade tomato sauce. It was really good. And then we made breakfast the next day.
The morning we left. But we also, while we were there, we actually had our first encounter with an Uber driver. And we went to the Atlanta Aquarium, ate lunch there. We were done with that aquarium in about 2.5 hours. But I recommend that aquarium also. That was awesome. It was great.
It was very cool. And like I said, our first experience with Uber, which went very good. Zach showed me, got me onto the app, showed me how it worked, and we were all set.
I think we're pros now after one time.
Absolutely. It's a pretty simple process, really. So then from Atlanta, we kind of went straight east down into the Hilton Head area and had dinner with some friends and a former Big Vision Foundation board member, John Smith, and his wife, Diane, and just had a really
It was in
good dinner with
Charleston
them.
or around Charleston, right?
Yeah, well, they were in Hilton Head. We went up to Charleston after that.
Okay.
So that was fun to connect with them. They're living down in that area now. Bluffton is the actual area that they live in now in South Carolina. So then we ended up going a little bit north before we continued our trek down south up into the Charleston area. And that night we stayed at a Walmart in Charleston.
Well, yeah, Walmart, Sam's Club.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
And
it was combined.
And it was right. The
Right near the airport.
The landing strip was right there at the airport because I didn't realize. I'm like, what is that loud noise? And I realized they were only just right there above us.
Yeah,
Huge.
Plane flying over us as we're parking. We were wondering what was going on initially, but
at first I thought it was a train going by. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and then so we tried to go into Charleston and spend some time there, but Charleston and the RV weren't having it. It's Charleston, South Carolina is a beautiful city, but it is not RV friendly. So we ended up going to another state park. You got the name of that one? I don't remember the name of that one.
No, I do actually. James Island County Park, which was in Charleston.
County Park, not a state park. So that was pretty cool. Again, nice trail. And then we went to have dinner with Nick Hitt, who was again a former player of mine, but also the stepson of John Smith and the son of Diane Smith. So we were able to have dinner with mom and stepdad.
And then son and girlfriend.
And then son and girlfriend the next night, which was really, really cool. We went to
Page's Okra Grill.
Page's Okra Grill. And I had 2 different types of okra, which was really good. Pickled okra, I think it was, and fried okra with a steak. And then that night we ended up staying in a...
when you had your key lime pie that night, too.
That's right, I did have key lime pie. But we stayed in a Walmart in Georgetown, South Carolina, because we were preparing ourselves to go to a baseball tournament for the weekend. Angelo Frey and Antonio Cochran and Aneshka Aponte, their whole family lives in South Carolina now. They're former players in the Berkshire organization. So it was kind of really cool to get to a tournament. For me, for a couple reasons. Number one, I could go there and actually watch games and not worry about reporting scores and getting fields prepped and just really enjoying the game. And as soon as we came, well, you stayed back in the RV for a little bit to start, but as soon as I came down the walkway, Antonio spotted me right away and greeted me with a big smile on his face. And he ended up having a great weekend. His team won the championship. He won the MVP award. He had a really, really good weekend. So that was a lot of fun. And then, so we were in that same Walmart in Georgetown for 2 nights, Friday night, Saturday night, because we went to the tournament Saturday and Sunday. And then Sunday evening, before we drove out of South Carolina, we went back to their apartment and had some mofongo. Sandy had shrimp. I had pork. It was really good. Again, it was just really great to be able to spend time with them, a little bit more. Just a great family all the way around, and wish them only the best moving forward here. So then we drove to another Georgia Welcome Center.
We went to Georgia.
This one off I-95.
That was a really nice welcome center. It was huge.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even finished.
Yeah. So we stayed there for the night and then went down into Savannah, which is an RV-friendly city, and did a lot of walking in Savannah, but Uke loved that because he could go with us.
us.
But they have at the Savannah Visitor Center RV parking area. It's $20 to park the RV for the entire day, and we just walked that entire
We had like
city.
almost 5 miles that day total.
Yeah, we walked up to, what was it, Forsyth Park?
Yeah, Fountain and Park. We had Cathedral of St. John the Baptist. We didn't get to go in there because they were having a
Service.
their mass. Yeah. We went through the Colonial Park Cemetery, which was exceptionally old. You couldn't even read the headstones. We had Leopold's ice cream. Just this, walked along the Savannah riverfront, and Georgia Queen paddle boat we saw in the river. It was really neat. It was just a quaint little area.
Yeah, very, very cool. Very cool city.
An old town. And then that night,
and then that evening,
met,
we met my cousin Jeff and his wife Mika and their one daughter, who I cannot remember her name right now. It's their youngest daughter, but I hadn't seen Jeff in over 20 years. I think we'd figured out that it was about 22 years since we'd last seen each other, which is just entirely too long. And then we forgot to get a picture with him.
Which is a bummer because we've been getting pictures with everyone.
Yeah, we forgot to get pictures with him. We forgot to get pictures with Homa. So we got to make sure that we get there again. But that was just a great time. We went to a burger joint there in Pooler, Georgia.
It was B&D Burgers.
Yeah, and really good burgers. And that got us.
After that, we drove and got into Florida.
Yep, we.
I think that was a welcome center again.
Yep, we drove from Pooler down to the Florida Welcome Center. Stayed the night there, and then in the morning we
woke up early.
Got up pretty early. Headed into Jacksonville. I wanted to stop at Sweet Pete's, which is a candy shop in Jacksonville, and we drove just circles in Jacksonville trying to figure out a place to park, and I was ready to give up and head out, even though I really wanted to go to Sweet Pete's and check it out because I saw it on the Prophet. I thought it was a really cool place, and I wanted to meet Pete. Didn't know if I would or not, but
you did.
Luckily, my wife suggested to hop out of the RV at the visitor center there to try to figure out a place to park the RV in Jacksonville, and they very helpful. I drove around the block 2 more times while she was inside, and then picked her up on the on the side of the road, and then we went down to a church where they had suggested, and asked if they'd be okay with us parking there for a couple hours, and we gave them a donation for letting us do that. So got up to Sweet Pete's, had some ice cream, bought some candy, and I did meet Pete, which was cool. Got a picture with him, and it was just cool. And I hope that my wife enjoyed Sweet Pete's as much as I did, because I thought it was really cool.
Like a little kid in a candy store. It was awesome how the whole thing was set up, and then it was set up for Christmas too.
Yeah, and literally in a candy store.
Yes.
Then from Jacksonville, we went down to St. Augustine. So we're now 2 days before Thanksgiving, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and stayed at the KOA in St. Augustine, which was just 3/4 of a mile from the beach. Nice campground. I went into the pool there. It was way too cold. I spent probably 10 minutes in the pool max, which was probably 10 minutes too long. As cold as it was. The water was really cold. But then when we got up on Wednesday, we went into downtown St. Augustine.
Actually, that night after the pool, you and Uke walked down to the beach. It was only 3/4 of a mile from the campground.
Right.
I didn't get to go, and I really regret not going, but we had so much wash to get done. And what I should have done was just do that and wash later or something. I don't know. I just didn't want to have a bunch of wash for Aunt Sally when I got here. But anyway, yeah, you walked and you had a great time.
Yeah, it was a nice walk to the beach. And then we got up Wednesday morning. We went into downtown St. Augustine, which again is an RV-friendly town for those listening. Free parking, free RV parking. It is
Right.
first come, first served, but I think we were pretty lucky with it being
Right.
the day before Thanksgiving. There were 2 vehicles there when we got there, and one other pulled in as we were locking ours up. And
it was extremely hot that day too. It got really
warm.
hot.
It was warm.
But we did have to walk a couple blocks to get into stuff, but it was fun.
Yeah, we just kind of walked around. We thought about going into the fort, but there's way too long of a line to
Again, due to COVID, and they were only allowing 100 people in at a time.
Yeah. But you went into a church there. I don't know the name of that church.
I have it down here, I think, someplace.
You and I just sat in the park while you went into the church.
I don't have it.
And then we grabbed lunch.
Mojo,
to go.
Mojo Barbecue, Old City. It was called, yeah. It was Mojo, Old City. Then we headed off, right, to Aunt Sally's.
Yep, we stopped in Daytona at a Sam's Club to get some water and top off our fuel. And we got to
right around
Aunt
5.
Sally's at 5:08 p.m.
Yes.
on the night of
the prior to Thanksgiving.
Eve.
Yes.
So we got set up here, and we've been here ever since. We'll be here till shortly after the first of the year. It's the longest time we've spent in any one place since we've started this, but we're getting into a little bit of a routine with Aunt Sally and her friends. We walk every day up at Wickham Park.
We met new friends here.
We have dinner Monday nights with Aunt Sally's group of friends. Aunt Sally is a fabulous cook and probably feeding us a little too much.
Yep.
But it's really not her fault. We can take smaller portions.
Which I'm starting to. She is, we do a 3-mile walk every Monday through Friday.
Yep.
And then the weekends we do it here in her neighborhood, so.
Yeah, I've gotten some pretty good blisters because I didn't tie my shoes right the one day, and now I've just been trying to baby them back into shape and still continue to walk. But we got to see some alligators close up the other day.
Too close. Well, I'm glad we won't walk in there. She's taken us to see manatees. But
alligators saw a launch. We actually saw 2 launches, a night launch and a regular launch. A regular launch close up on the Cape.
Right.
And then went to, what was that place we went to for lunch that Robin had suggested?
Dixie
Crossing, I think it was.
Yes, it
Dixie
is.
Crossroads. Really good lunch there. And
then we also, backing up a little bit, we went, we walked in the evening at Wickham Park where we do the morning walk, but we walked that one night, they had it open to see the Christmas lights in there, which was nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And the day we went up for the launch, we also ended up going past my mom's old house, which was interesting to see. It's a little bit run down right now, unfortunately, but it was where she ran her halfway house in Titusville, Florida. So she saved a lot of people's lives in that house by getting them back on the road to recovery and keeping them on the road to recovery. So it's kind of bittersweet to see the shape that the house was in now. But
You have to go back out.
Yeah, so it took us 21 days to get from Pennsylvania to Florida. Went a little bit north to head back south, but again, that's one of the things that we can do. My cousins came over a little bit after Thanksgiving. I mean, Thanksgiving was a small gathering, um, obviously due to COVID. I think we only had 9 people here, right?
Right.
Yeah, 9 people for Thanksgiving. Normally, my Aunt Sally will have, um, 20 plus people for Thanksgiving. So it was small, but it was cozy and it was safe. Um, and then so I got to see my cousins a few days after Thanksgiving. I guess a week after Thanksgiving, they came over from Orlando. My one cousin Jim was down from Idaho, so it was nice to see him. But we've really just kind of been, relaxing. You went on a boat ride.
Well, we also walked the linear trail at Brevard County Zoo, which was it's a really nice one. You walked the full length, which was what, 9 miles?
No, 5.8 miles.
Okay,
round
and
trip.
then us ladies walked not quite 4, so round trip. And then we went to Winter Park, the chain of lakes. That was beautiful. We took a scenic, it was a girls' day. It was a scenic boat ride on a pontoon boat, I think. And he took us out through the canals. There was 3 pontoon boats, and it was really neat. It was just beautiful. You could see Rollins College, known for the liberal arts. You saw beautiful cypress trees, and I didn't know, I only learned this on the trip, that it's illegal to cut a cypress tree down in Florida. We saw where Mr. Rogers grew up in a house on that, inside the lakeside, I guess it would be called, mansions that are like probably 10,000 square foot inside. It was unbelievable. But it was and then we had lunch at a Italian place in town, and it's just a quaint little town with little shops, and they have cobblestone roads. It's just really gorgeous. Oh, and then today, let's see, what day was that? Oh, no, and then we went on Saturday to get Dan's green olive pizza with pepperoni on it, San Remo's.
That was good.
Place.
Big fan of green olive
they
and
have really
pepperoni
good
pizza.
French fries there too. It was good and crispy.
We went over beachside for a little bit after San Remo's.
That's right. It was dark, but it was still neat to go to the beach for a little.
The old Indialantic Beach, where lots of memories for me as a kid there. So it was cool to see that and see how it's changed since the last time I was there.
And then brings us up to today, which was it was another girls' day. They took me to Disney Springs, which is in Orlando, I believe. It's around that area, where it's just a lot of shops again, but it's all done up for Christmas. They had, I'm gonna post some pictures. There's a dragon that's all Legos. It's made of all Legos. There are Star Wars figures, all Legos. There's just so much, and it's really nice. You don't even have to buy anything. It just kind of puts you in the mood for Christmas because it's all decorated. It's just quaint town and stores. So yeah, that was the day there. So brings us up to date. To the 15th, right? Today's the 15th.
10 days before Christmas.
Yes.
And like I said, we'll be here in Florida till shortly after the first of the year, and we'll be in Melbourne till shortly after the first of the year, and then we'll head south to Key West and probably stay about a week in Key West. Have our eyes on a campsite down there, which looks pretty cool, and then we'll come back up through and stop and see my cousins again, Carol and Patty and Debbie and some friends in the Tampa area. Hopefully Gil Kim and Michael Wardlow and Aaron Gentry, and we'll get back up into the Orlando area. Hopefully we get to see Kyle Sadlowski. We tried to get together with him this past Saturday, but it didn't quite work out. So we'll make sure we get together with him, and then if all goes well, we'll head across the southern U.S. out into California, and head back over to Pennsylvania for be there for Easter, and a couple dentist appointments and dog grooming and
yes.
all that sort of stuff. We're probably gonna have to get him a haircut before.
I've been doing the best I can right now.
But
he had a really short one before we left, so it's still half decent. So.
Yeah, he's sleeping right now, which is quite funny. He's relaxing right now, but he's loving this journey as much as we are, if not more. He loves going to the park and walking. He doesn't help my time on my walks because everybody wants to stop and say hi to him and pet him and tell him he's beautiful, and probably goes to his head a little bit, but nonetheless he's loving every minute of it. My aunt's friend Alice absolutely adores him. So next week we get some warranty issues taken care of on the RV here at Camping World in Cocoa, and then off we go from there. So any last things you want to add about our journey thus far, honey?
No, I just want to say that I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, a blessed one,
and a Happy New Year.
And it's been a rough New Year, so just enjoy.
It's been a rough year.
Hopefully it's a better New Year. So please enjoy family and Merry Christmas.
Yep, Merry Christmas, everyone, and we will try not to let it go as long for our next podcast.
Because I think this was really crammed in, but you might have to do 2. It's worth it at this point.
So again, be sure to check us out, my blogs and other podcasts at danclouser.com.
And all our pictures, if you can see them on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're watching the video version of this, you're going to get to see some of those pictures as well. If you're just listening to the audio version, check us out on Facebook to see some of those pictures. But again, have a great Christmas, and we'll talk to you later. Check us out at danclouser.com.